Hello, good evening. Peter Murrell, the Scottish National Party's chief executive, who's married to Nicola Sturgeon, has resigned with immediate effect. The move comes after a week of chaos in the SNP, with the party forced to confirm a massive drop in membership numbers and two of the candidates in the leadership race questioning the election process. Katrina Renton reports.
Behind the scenes, Peter Murrell has been a key figure in the SNP. For the last 20 years, he has run the party as its chief executive, and he married party leader and First Minister Nicola Sturgeon in 2010. But the campaign to succeed his wife has put Peter Murrell's role under the spotlight. Last month, the SNP denied its membership had fallen sharply. This week, it admitted that was wrong, with more than 30,000 fewer members than in December 2021. And now Peter Murrell has accepted responsibility for the confusion, although he insisted there was no intention to mislead. He says speculation about his future has become a distraction from the leadership campaign. Ash Regan, who is running in that campaign, had been especially critical of Mr Murrell. Her rival, Kate Forbes, had also raised concerns about the election process.
This is a contest about change and ultimately about reforming the party and government to ensure that there's honesty, integrity and trust at the very heart of our decision making.
Humza Yousaf is seen as the party headquarters' favoured candidate, offering continuity.
Reform of headquarters is very much needed, and certainly I'll be looking to see what I can do to shake up that operation at headquarters from day one.
In recent years, Peter Murrell and Nicola Sturgeon were the powerhouse behind the Scottish National Party. But Miss Sturgeon's resignation has exposed bitter splits within the party and a changing of the guard at the top of Scottish politics, with a host of figures following her out of senior positions in the party, the Scottish Government, or both. Other issues hang over Mr Murrell's time in charge, with questions about why he lent the SNP more than £100,000, which the party said was a personal donation. And there's a police investigation into party finances. The SNP has suffered another blow, while the leadership campaign continues. Katrina Renton, BBC News.
Well, our Scotland editor, James Cook, is in Glasgow. Where does this leave the party, James?
Well, Jane, it could well be a turning point for the SNP. Obviously, we can't tell that right now, but it's certainly an end of an era for Scotland's ultimate power couple. It was Peter Murrell who, behind the scenes, as Katrina says, built the party into this professional, slick, election-winning machine. Now his opponents say the wheels have come off and are rolling down the road. And there are a huge number of issues facing whoever wins this leadership contest. There's a police investigation into the party's finances. There's the issue of the lack of progress on the party's central aim of independence. And there are deep divisions on policy issues as well, on social policy issues and on economic policy issues. And figures within the party, senior figures, are now saying privately and sometimes publicly that they acknowledge they're in a right mess.
James Cook, thank you. President Putin has flown to Crimea in the Ukraine to mark 9 years since the region was illegally annexed by Russia. He's been accused of war crimes by the International Criminal Court, specifically the forced deportation of children from Ukraine to Russia. Efforts are continuing in Ukraine to bring home children who've gone missing since the invasion, as our diplomatic correspondent James Landale reports.
Vladimir Putin today in Sevastopol, there to open an arts centre and mark the anniversary of Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea. One place he can still visit without risk of arrest after international prosecutors accused him of war crimes. The United States may not accept the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court, but President Biden welcomed its decision nonetheless.
Well, I think it's justified, but the question is, it's not recognized internationally by us either. But I think it makes a very strong point. He's clearly committed war crimes. Thank you.
The allegations are that Mr. Putin has personal criminal responsibility for deporting children from occupied parts of Ukraine to Russia. According to this lawyer, potentially as many as 700,000 children, yes, 700,000, were taken and only a fraction have been brought home.
Even this city.
She welcomed the court decision, but
it's only first step. Our next step should be returning back all Ukrainian children from Russia Federation to Ukraine. not only because of the reason to reunite them with their families, but in order to receive as more as possible evidence and testimony from them directly.
In Kyiv today, people told me the court's decision meant the world now knew about Russia's alleged war crimes. What's your reaction?
I'm very happy about it because justice will come.
Extremely happy. Why? Because we're expecting this more than 1 year. Because definitely Vladimir Putin is a crime person.
At home, Vladimir Putin is honoured as a head of state. Abroad, he's now wanted as an alleged war criminal. The Kremlin has rejected the accusations against him, but on the global stage, his isolation has deepened. James Landau, BBC News, Kyiv.
The former US President Donald Trump says he expects to be arrested on Tuesday. In a post on his own social media platform, he claimed to have seen leaks from the Manhattan District Attorney's office, which is yet to comment. Mr. Trump is accused of paying hush money to an alleged mistress and called on his supporters to protest if he's detained. There have been violent clashes outside the court in Islamabad, hearing a case against the former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, who's charged with not correctly declaring funds he received for selling state gifts. His home was raided by police. He says all cases against him are politically motivated after he was ousted from office last year. Our Pakistan correspondent Caroline Davis sent this report.
Pelting police with stones, tear gas canisters exploding, filling the air. And in the middle, supporters clinging to his car. This was the arrival of Imran Khan at court today. Tensions between Mr. Khan's supporters and the authorities have been rising all week. An attempt to arrest him led to clashes in Lahore. When Mr. Khan's convoy left for court this morning, he did so with armed guards. At the entry to Islamabad, the convoy stopped. Police said Mr. Khan's group would need to disarm. The crowd and traffic built. Amongst them, we found Mr. Khan, adamant that the authorities' only intention is to jail him.
Putting in prison means that they will keep me out of the election race right till the end of the elections. So I won't be able to campaign. That's the whole thing.
Opponents say this has nothing to do with politics, but is Mr. Khan whipping up his supporters, making them into a human shield for him to avoid the law. The authorities blocked roads into the capital and the court with shipping containers and banned rallies, but supporters still came.
This is the aftermath. Imran Khan may well have left this courtroom, but the police are still here. You can still see the sticks and stones on the ground. You can still smell the tear gas that has been used. And the real concern after today is that this is not the end of tensions between the authorities and Imran Khan supporters.
The months of battles in the courts are now spilling into Pakistan's streets, with neither side conceding ground. Caroline Davis, BBC News, Islamabad.
Now, it's the final weekend of the Rugby Union Six Nations and Ireland have just kicked off against England. Ireland are hoping to secure the title, but France's win against Wales earlier kept alive their hopes of remaining champions. Ben Croucher has been watching. Goodness, I am so sorry. That is absolutely not the sort of story we don't want to be bringing you on a very big sporting weekend as it is. I do apologise. I really hope we will have much more for you on the Six Nations and all the rest of the day's news a little bit later on. I'm afraid that is it for now. I'll be back with the late news and more rugby, I hope, at 10:10 now on BBC One. It is time, though, for the news wherever you are this evening. Hope you have a good evening. Bye-bye.